Tales of Amestralia, The War of the Madosian Peninsula. Presentation. Hello dear reader, my name is Amoro Mishuni. I am a scholar and historian native to the city of Pramiga, situated on the Gulf of Nobla in the Southlands. I was born in the year 3E 3500 as the second son of a wealthy family. I have enjoyed and studied historical events since I was 8 years old. Thanks to my wealthy family, I was able to study at the most renowned school in my city, and during my youth I traveled the world visiting many cities and little explored places, and even set foot beyond the mountains of Volvla. In the fearsome Shadowlands, I have seen a little of everything in this life. Today I am exactly 50 years old, and I come here to tell you about a subject that I have studied for the last 10 years of my life. A great event that to this day is considered one of the greatest events in the history of the Southlands, this event being the War of the Madosian Peninsula, or just the Madosian War. This war that began in the year 3E 3330, and that to this day is studied by several people, including me, due to its large scale. I've spent the last 10 years gathering documents and checking out ruins and stories and everything I could about this great event. And this book that I'm writing is a way of creating a big summary of all the information I've collected to try to tell the story as coherently as possible. I would like to say that it is clear that in some cases assumptions were made, and therefore the story I tell you here does not have complete accuracy of facts, especially because this event occurred more than 200 years ago, considering the time in which I write this. However, it is as close as possible that anyone can tell this story today, and I hope that with this work, this story can live on in everyone's minds for many centuries to come, even after I am gone from this world. Now that I have introduced myself, allow me to start this story by explaining that, for me to tell you the story of the Madosian Peninsula War, it is necessary to first tell and explain about the Second Great War of the Savannas, as this war paved the way for the war that would come later. I dare say that the Second Great War of the Savannas is the first part of what would become the War of the Madosian Peninsula, although many scholars agree to divide the two. However, now it is enough for me to explain to you what the Second Great War of the Savannas was. So, let's begin. The Madosian Savanna. The Southlands are very hot, as everyone knows, especially in the Madosian Peninsula, which is covered by tropical forests. For this reason, in places that do not have much precipitation, what is known as savanna ends up forming. In the Southlands, there are many savannas, but one in particular stands out, this being the Madosian Savanna, called by some the Noblinian Savanna, or simply the Savannas. Ignoring the fact that it is a single savanna, some other names given to the region are Shanti, Vava and Sabaoku, but these are names more specific to some cultures. For the general public, the most used name is Madosian Savanna. This particular savanna is important because despite the dryness, the wild animals and the unforgivable heat, the Madosian Savanna is inhabited by 5 wandering tribes, these being Vashan tribe, Zagor tribe, Sishkin tribe, Nuran tribe and Jura tribe. These tribes have inhabited the savannas for a long time. Some documents tell of records from the year 3E 1200, where tribes that inhabit the savannas are already mentioned, but it is not known because they are exactly the same tribes as today. There are indications that several other tribes have already passed through these savannas, but ended up disappearing at some point, either through migration, because they died in battles against other tribes, or due to hunger. However, the 5 tribes that today inhabit the Madosian Savanna have been there for at least 480 years. The tribes of the Madosian Savanna live by hunting or plundering, with the number of large animals in the region, and the fact that the tribes do not have fixed places to live. Most of the time, the tribes spend hunting wild animals to eat or use as clothing. However, when they have the opportunity Tribes invade lands inhabited by other people and plunder travelers who cross the region. When the loot is too great, tribes tend to negotiate with other peoples, in exchange obtaining important but scarce resources in the region, such as certain types of weapons and even armor, and in rarer cases, culinary delicacies that are not found in the savannah. It is valid to say that when tribes negotiate with other peoples, they end up negotiating with travelers and traders who are native to cities, but never with another tribe from the Madosian savannah. This is because these other tribes have access to the same resources as them, and because the history of disagreements among all the tribes is very large, considering that these same 5 tribes inhabited the Madosian savannah for almost 500 years. Throughout this time, they warred against each other, often almost to the point of extinction, and these stories are passed down from generation to generation in such a way that one tribe simply hates the other for this reason, even though each tribe detests the people of the cities and beyond. They detest each other to a much greater extent.